You're now tuned into $1 million worth of game.
So many battlefield scars by driven in plush cars. This life as a rap star was nothing without God. Was born rough and rugged, addressing the man, thugging. My attitude was fucking cause motherfuckers love it. Oh, all right. That Pac shit, y'all know what rest in peace to Pac.
This is the Suge Knight edition. Let's go. Stories from the cell. Suge, what's happening, man?
Hey, what's good with you?
Oh, man, listen, man, we doing good. How you doing, man?
Man, every day's a blessing.
That's
right. What the circumstances is. If you're alive, you're doing good.
That's what I'm talking about, man. You know, so we connected, man. I mean, we on $1 million worth of game featuring Suge Knight live from penitentiary. There's some things you want to talk about, Suge.
This episode of $1 million worth of game is brought to you by
New Amsterdam.
New Amsterdam vodka. Now let me tell you something about New Amsterdam vodka.
Tell them something.
Life ain't going your way.
Shout out New Amsterdam.
You caught your bitch cheating today.
Shout out New Amsterdam.
You thought your check was coming, but that bitch ain't come your way.
Shout out New Amsterdam.
I'm talking about this shit is distilled 5 times. This bitch is filtered 3 times. I'm talking about ran through not uno, not dos, tres. Right. I wasn't going to say not trace, but it is trace. 3 times, man.
Yes.
So for that clean, crisp finish, you feel what I'm saying? You can drink it with anything, straight up on the rocks, soda, juice, make a classic New Amsterdam Mule, however you want to play it. Shout out to the New Amsterdam Queen, though. My wife be at the crib doing it big, cocktailing it up with the ladies. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Bean, too. Everybody was over at the crib. They was, because we got the New Amsterdam bar in the crib. Yeah, they got sauced up. You know what I mean? Sauced up and sauced down. You feel what I'm saying? So, New Amsterdam vodka, official vodka of Barstool Sports, and presenting sponsor of $1 million worth of game. Right.
I mean, one of the things is always been heavy on my mind is that I know I owe it to my community. I know I owe it to the younger generation that comes after me to give them the game that people didn't give me. I had to learn the hard way.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very important that, like I said, I'm a firm believer that always less is best. But we got to be real careful out there because you got so many people that's constantly talking, saying certain things. They're doing it for what views, for publicity. And it's getting a lot of people in handcuffs, getting a lot of people, on the worst end of the barrel. And like I say, at the end of the day, me being older in the older generation, it's a young people turn. There's a lot of good people out there doing great shit. I think the city of Compton is still great. They got, artists out there is incredible. I don't personally know them. They're younger, but they're still great. 211 doing great shit. T-Rail, my nephew doing great shit. And it's just at the end of the day, it's time for us to move forward instead of constantly moving backwards. Now, you got people who say they're from my neighborhood and they grew up in my neighborhood. It really came from a different neighborhood. You got people saying they with this crew, don't even know that crew. And even when it came down to Death Row, I came up with the name Death Row. And matter of fact, another guy had the name already. It was Death Row, but he spelled it like Death. Like they spelled Def Jam.
The DEF.
The same way, Def. Yeah, it said Row. I said, no, we from the ghetto. I'm gonna do some gangster shit. So I bought his shit and destroyed his trademark and did my own. And my little homie Hen Dog, rest in peace, drew the logo.
Okay.
And a lot of times people go and say, well, there's a guy named Mike. He said he started Death Row. This person said he started Death Row. All these different people. Now, true enough, I do know Mike through my attorney. We had some conversation about doing some things, but at the same time, nobody had no real money to do that shit. I did all that shit on my own. Even when it came to the fact when people say, well, did you lose in court? I didn't lose in court. I said the first time it came around, because you got to realize one thing. When I met Interscope, Ted Fields, and Timmy Iovine, they was about to call it throwing the towel. I say they company and lunch my company. But at the same time, they settled Any person said they had anything to do with me and knew me, I gave everybody sign off on stuff. $300, with 300,000 or 200,000. So hey, even though y'all had nothing to do with my shit, Interscope felt that's the best way to do it. So that was settled. Later on in life, moving forward, they went to court and got a default judgment against me, saying it had something to do with my company, along with the lawyer, David Kenner. When that happened, none of my lawyers came there to represent me, and I got a default judgment because I wasn't there and I never got served. So instead of going back and forth with it, I did another settlement for $1 million. Here, take it, go, it was over. I didn't know at the time, but it wasn't a problem with Lydia. It was a problem with Michael Harris. His lawyer turned around and said they didn't settle. So when it was going back and forth, I did a Chapter 11 to show this is not true. The reason why I had to do a Chapter 11 in the federal court because the state judge was on the phone, or they was representing the state judge with Goldberg, which is Michael Harris' attorney, and 3 other guys all on the phone on a recording saying how they got the judge in their hip pocket and he gonna fuck over me just to fuck over me. So I was advised to do a Chapter 11, show them the settlement, and let it be done with. Moving forward all this time now today, I just recently found out, I wasn't 1,000% sure, but I just recently found out it was Michael Harris and Goldberg, his attorney, did the biggest fraud in the history of the music business. Everybody want to pat these guys on the back and show praises and say, hang out with me. But these are the same people who befriended a black man to try to fuck up his motherfucking shit. Or fuck this shit up. Because at the end of the day, and you can show it, and Goldberg, which is Michael Harris' attorney, he emailed Castleman, which is Lydia Harris' attorney, saying, hey, we're going to take the default judgment from here and capitalize on it, basically. He said, no, you can't do that. I got the judgment for Lydia Harris. Goldberg, who's Michael Harris' attorney, said, well, if you don't stand down, you guys will get in trouble because at the end of the day, you filed bankruptcy. Your client filed bankruptcy. And if you file bankruptcy, you don't miss these type of things, that means it's illegal. You even had a trustee. So her attorney, which is Castleman, turned around and said, well, you know what? I didn't find out till almost a year after we got the default judgment. As a lawyer, as an officer of the court, you're supposed to go in immediately and get that straight. And like I said, when it's all said and done, and because I'm a black man from Compton and a businessman,
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
I should get treated the same way if I was Apple, if I was Universal, Warner Brothers, Pepsi-Cola, or whoever. But we always against each other in the ghetto so much that they use us to all fight amongst each other, like use everybody against each other. Like if you say something negative about this person, I'll give you more views. If you say something about this person, I'll give you more views. Like I said, there's people from my neighborhood that just started in my neighborhood. They came from Kitchen Crip or hanging with the main street. When they moved to my neighborhood, they didn't run with us to school or go to school because they wouldn't. Most people who weren't tough, you couldn't go to school. That's like sports. How you can tell if a person can fight when I was growing up if they played sports. If he was good in sports, he was good in fighting or anything else that came with along with it. I grew up with 10 uncles. My name always meant something. So that tells you a lot about that.
Right.
But more importantly, I think it's real important that we don't get caught up in trying to bring each person down like the old crab in the bucket syndrome. This is like when you look at it, I'm from the West Coast. I love everywhere for my people, but I don't love no coast better than the West Coast because that's where I was born and raised at.
Mm-hmm.
And right now on the West Coast, we're getting arrested out there. People getting killed out there. And they're not giving any money back to the West Coast. So you got all these people who's really good youngsters who's crashing, who shouldn't have to crash because they should be giving money back and putting money back into the cities. Instead of doing that, older motherfuckers got everybody arguing among themselves. Like I salute the fact that they doing something for Larry. That's a great thing. One of these youngsters said earlier, he was like, well, damn, we got people on the West Coast who Crips, Bloods, Pyrus, in different neighborhoods who's in prison, who've been railroaded, who need lawyers. Nobody doing nothing to get them lawyers. So when you start giving concerts and shows and you doing these places for one person, you got to do something for people in the city. Because we do need the West Coast who got so much strength, so much influence to be able to benefit from all the work we all did in the West Coast. We got too many people that live in the West Coast that are not generating more jobs back to our community. That's when it's all said and done. That's what we should be on.
Believe that. This episode of $1 Million Worth of Game is brought to you by Lightboxer.
Lightboxer.
Now let me tell you something about Lightboxer, right?
Great machine.
What I do, right, is I get on there, right? I line my iPod up right with it, right? My iPad up with it, right?
Play the music.
I play the music, right? Whatever music of my choice, you know what I'm saying? I could be on there if I want, cry me a river.
Unbelievable sweat.
You know, unbelievable workout. You feel what I'm saying?
DMX on
because and then you do a whole song and you got to punch wherever it tell you to punch. And it's great for your form.
Lights.
It's great for your arms. It's great for your upper body. It's great for movement. And it work you out like a motherfucker.
Yes, it do.
And it's all fun. It's all fun. It's not even like you working out. It's just straight fucking fun. So make sure y'all check out, go to Lightboxer /game.
Game.
And get 200 off your purchase and use the code GAME at checkout to get 200 off your purchase. You feel me? Go to lightboxer.com /game and get 200 off your purchase. Use the code GAME at checkout and you get 200 off. Lightboxer make it working out fun and competitive. And you get to compete against the people in your household. So make sure you go to lightboxer.com /game ASAP.
Oh, I got a few questions for you, right? Based off of what you said, is there any individuals that you feel as though that have been in the penitentiary for a long period of time that really need somebody to be fighting for them? That was unjustly convicted and all that? Is there anybody that you know personally that you can mention?
I mean, of course, but some of them got out. One person I consider, the one person I can trust more than anybody is one of my big bros. I ain't gonna say his name. He did 38 years. But there's so many people that's been. It's like this. And I ain't even trying to blow my own horn. It ain't about me because I'm doing my time. But at the same time, my defense was self-defense. So it's not like they didn't allow me to use my own attorney. They had me getting all these other attorneys. I'm meeting the district, walking by, and all this type of shit. I ain't even put it on the record.
Mm-hmm.
Let me hire my attorney. But I didn't have no outgoing mail, no incoming mail, no phone privileges. If I want to hire an attorney, a PI, or use a bail bondsman, they got to get approved by the DA, county counsel with the sheriff's attorney, and the judge for me to hire them. And if they don't want me to see them or hire them, they won't let me talk to them. Even the persons who they gave immunity to saying you can't get in trouble. I thought he was going to tell the truth. They turned around and had the facts on where these people had weapons. This person called all these people show up here. And each person was saying what he was doing there. Oh, well, it was his get out. In other words, his hit, his setup. Now, when you do something for a movie company, if Universal movie, they hire a production company. And after the movie, they destroy that in case they get sued, the production company gets sued. So if you have guys getting $100 or $150 a day, and you wanted to get them some money, it would come from Universal or the production company. And if it was Trey, it would come from his business account, not his personal account. Now these guys got personal checks, $20 grand and more, right? And when they ask these guys, well, why he give you this money, these big checks, if he don't know you? Well, it was murder for hire. He paid us just to kill a certain person, and you know who that person was. Instead of them taking that and saying, okay, let this man go, but don't arrest this man, just leave it alone, they didn't want to take it to trial because they know all the truth will come out. But at the same time, it's not the fact that I got 28 years, I end up, the crime they gave me carried 2, 6, and 11. They try to say I had a strike on a pass, which really don't supposed to be a strike, so they doubled me up. Then they gave me another enhancement, so they just gave me enhancements right now. My base term is up. In reality, I should have been done, but I don't want to take up all my time for this time for being able to speak to my people and they're spending it all on me, because it's not on me, but it's people from federal institutions to state institutions that really need our help. But more importantly, it's not just the people in the institution, it's people who's on the streets, these younger generations, who's not having jobs or the right outlet.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
Take care of their family.
Yeah.
We out here glorifying
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
we'll glorify the man who's a drug dealer and did a lot of telling instead of this man who came from hard knocks and started from the bottom and made it to the top. The person, like my whole life is, nobody never gave me nothing but God. And if you do a background check on me, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do a background check on all the people who talking, either they informants or what they call them, CI, whatever they call, right?
Mm-hmm.
And let me hang up the call right back.
Sure.
Yeah, you know, and one of the things is like this. First, they gave me a no bail. Then they gave me a $25 million bail. There was only 2 other people ever had a $25 million bail. The guy who killed all the kids, 800 people in Oklahoma, McVeigh, whatever his name was, and the guy who killed all the people in at the marathon in Boston or whatever, right? Now, that's crazy shit, right? Then when you turn around, when you give me a bail, you don't allow me to bail out. And you take away all my rights where I can't fight, where I'm not allowed to prove myself. That's the same way when this guy, 17-year-old kid, comes somewhere with an AK-47 and he shoots 2 people, killed 2 people, and wounded another. They say, well, that's self-defense because they was coming towards him. So he gets off. Well, Suge Knight, he calls over. You see people with guns attacking me. They even said they had guns. It's proof they had guns. But they took my rights to be able to use attorneys to defend myself and give me no choice. Either I get 100-some years or I take a deal. And so at the end of the day, now, the whole world understood what happened to Floyd. He couldn't breathe. And I felt that. And I felt I was great that people got justice. But at the same time, it's a lot.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
It's a lot of people who can't breathe, but they take companies from you. They take your money from you. 2 things they can't do. If they can't take the money from you, they take you from the money, either kill you or put you in prison. All these people want to come and talk and fight when it's too late. Why don't you fight for us when we're living? Because I always want to be at the end. Well, okay, he was a great person. But it's nowhere you can find anywhere that anybody got. Every one of my attorney visits was recorded. That's illegal. When I would have had most of these attorneys, when I told the court my Brady violation was violated, because I told the court, I said, you know what? I want to fire the counsel I have and give me time to order 2 new counsels, because this was my second day in court. So I had a right to do that. He said, no, I said, I'm paying for it. I like this, they've been fired. I said, you know what? I tell you what, I like to exercise my rights and go per. You know what the judge told me? No, you can't go per. If you want to go per, the only thing they're supposed to be able to do is see if you've been to high school and you know how to read and write. Obviously, I got a college degree and I know how to read and write. Instead, they denied me, and then when I went to go to have the hearing in the next courtroom, they wouldn't allow me to come, and they had the hearing with 2 attorneys who've been fired who agreed to move my case from Compton to CCD, which is another illegal violation.
Yeah.
But I don't care, and I'm not going to say nothing negative about Kim Kardashian, because I like the Kardashians. I know her father. Me and Johnny Carson was a great great friends, like brothers, so I like what they're doing. But it's people right here that nobody step out and say, let me check out his case. Or Common, you gonna go and talk to some of these guys who's in prison, who debriefed, who told on everybody in different prisons, and talk to these guys, but you won't have a conversation with Mr. Knight. But you're a black man. But you're talking to a guy who used to be in a racist prison game, who debriefed. So all this shit everybody always talk about is us, us, us. It's never know us until it really be us.
This episode of $1 Million Worth of Game is brought to you by Swipe Me Down.
Mm-hmm.
Swipe Me Down.
SWIPEDOW.
Swipe me down.
Swipe me down. Player, that's me. Swipe me down. Ooh, ooh. Swipe me down. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Swipe me down. Because that's all you got to do.
That's all you got to do. The Roman swipes, man. You got to get swiped up. Listen, man, I'm telling you, all you got to do is listen. You open that pack, listen. You wipe it, you let it dry, you make her fly.
Whip it. Swipe me down.
Listen. That's all it's about is to swipe me down, man. You want to get swiped down, man? What you need to do right now, I'm talking about right now, go to Roman Swipes. Listen, man, getroman.com/game for your first month of swipes. It's just for $5 when you choose a monthly plan. One thing about Roman Swipes, they clinically proven and help you last longer in bed. A lot of you guys, like I say, y'all guys is don't even make it off the bench, a lot of you guys. Some of you guys was in the game once. She won't let you off the bench no more. You're not even going to see halftime.
Some of them going to gas stations getting them bullshit pills.
All that
that's
bullshit.
Going to fuck your liver up in the long run.
Bullshit,
all you got to do is swipe me down. SWIPEDOWN. Player, that's me. Swipe me down.
That's all you got to do, man. Swipe me down. Go to getroman.com right now /game. Listen, a monthly plan. If you choose a monthly plan, your first month is for $5, and it's just like that. Let me ask you a question, Suge. Who from the music industry reach out to you? Do any other CEOs or anybody reach out to you?
No. Instead, you got to realize one thing. They got to look good for the executives at Universal or Interscope or Sony, and so they got a bad mouth. You get motherfuckers. I don't talk to none of those motherfuckers. But I tell you this, it's not. If it was Mary J. Blige being signed to a production company, production signed to Uptown with MTA, which is Universal. So if $1 came in, everybody gets their piece. By the time they get their piece, there's nothing left. I went in and got off a production company, got off Uptown, and did the deal straight to MTA. If it meant from getting Andre off of Ruthless, where he would only get $1 penny for producing, and they would cost collateralize his producer royalties if anybody in a record company failed. I went to war and got that man off that contract. Shit, the first time Puffy did his album, I let him use my samples for free. On Biggie's first album, you seen all the Death Row samples on there. I didn't charge him $1. But at the same, what I do say, and it's great to be able to say, what was good about us, we all needed each other. Because if whoever was in the business put out a hit record, that made us work harder to do another hit record. All these people talk about Tupac. Nobody went and got Tupac out of prison but me. All these people talk about Snoop. When it came to Snoop, I knew the Twins and Domino first, before we even met Snoop. But when Snoop came to Death Row, and when Snoop got in trouble, and I don't regret none of this, Snoop, we only had one song done on Snoop. So what I did, I said, look, I took my company. I said, I tell you what, give me $5 million right now. They said, for what? I said, I got to put a defense and together for Snoop's murder trial. They said, he's probably going to lose, and you're going to lose your whole company. I said, well, it's worth his life. So I put my whole company up on, got the $5 million.
Who gave you the $5 million?
I don't want to bring in David Kenner. I don't want to bring in Johnny Cochran.
Hold up, Suge. Who gave you the $5 million? What label gave you the $5 million? Interscope. Jimmy Iovine.
Yep. I went to them and said, here, give me this money right now. They tell me, don't do it. You'll be dumb to do it. You're going to go to prison. I said, that's all right. It's a chance I got to take. So not only did I do that, I walked in, allegedly everybody talked about, all the lawyers head down, said we can't beat this case. I said, why not? They said the guy who was with him, who's supposed to be the security, has a 9mm. Snoop has a 380. Allegedly, he shot on the ground, the bullet hit the ground.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
It raised up and killed him, right? All right. And once it killed him, right? So I said, what the hell? If the bodyguard had the 380 and Snoop had a 9, we fucked. But instead, the bodyguard has got to tell him he was shooting 380 bullets out of a 9mm. But a 380 can't shoot 9mm bullets, but a 9mm can shoot 380 bullets. When Snoop went to court, it was 100 power rules out there every day. They told me they was going to arrest me if I keep coming to court because they're scared to tell the truth. I said, oh, well, I'm still coming. The lawyers wanted to put Dre on the stand for a character witness to Snoop. He wouldn't do it and wouldn't show up to court because he was told by Interscope he's going to prison and he didn't want that bad luggage. So he never came.
Let me ask you a question. Now,
Yeah.
when you went and got Pac, what made you go get Pac out of jail? What made you say, I'm going to get Pac? And did you really write a contract down on the paper to sign him?
Man, Pac is one of the best. That was my little brother. Before he was one of my little brother, was this was the truth about it. Interscope didn't want him. They wanted to give him to me because Pac would always come up there and call him the devil. God's the devil, right? So when Pac, I was talking to him to slow it down. Pac was, being Pac cocky. Everybody was mad. I said, no, let him be him. When Pac got shot in New York, I guess everybody else was sending him flowers and roses. I sent him a bulletproof vest with the Death Row logo on the back, saying, don't get scared now. So when Pac went to prison, Keisha kept calling my office saying she was his wife. Everybody laughing at her. So I took a call one day. She was telling the truth. I grabbed my lawyer. I'm on house arrest with a house ankle bracelet. Got my private plane. Took a private plane out there. Took another plane to there. Took an hour and a half ride to the prison. Went to go visit. And got Pac out of prison.
Okay.
So let me ask
If
you.
it wasn't for Keisha, I wouldn't have been there.
So Suge, share a story with us that about Tupac that don't nobody know. Nobody's ever heard.
Well, two of them. One of them is that when Pac first when I went to go visit, I told him all the stuff I'm going to have for him. So when Pac gets there, I send a private plane, I send a limo, pick him up, all that shit. He gets to the studio, I give him a briefcase with $1 million cash in it. I gave him all the jewelry, all the shit. The first song we ever did was My Business as a Rider, which the hook was already on there and the track was already done. Pac goes in and starts rapping on the motherfucker, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't believe how good it sounded. And so I said, what you think? I said, oh, man, it's all right. Do it again. And I'm telling the engineer, don't erase it. So he does it again, So what you think? I said, man, I ain't quite as convinced. I'm trying to see, could I piss him off and say, fuck this shit? But I couldn't do it. So he just kept getting better and better. So finally he does it. We stack it. He come in, we play it back as a hit, right? We go outside, and I open the motherfucking limo up, and it's literally 10 naked bitches in the limo for him. He said, what's that? I said, that's you. I said, man, go to the hotel, have a good time, talk to them morning. I said, you bitch don't take none of this motherfucking money, don't smoke all this weed up, right? We laughing.
Mm-hmm.
As we talking, he falls out, and I grabbed him, about to bust his head open. I wake up, I said, what's up? He said, oh, man, I had too much drinking, too much smoking. My system too clean. I said, yeah, I can hear it now. I pushed you down if you bust your head open, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of them. And the other one was in Cabo. So we're in Cabo, and, we got a couple of bitches. We having fun. And I was always taking care of all the people at Cabo, but we was on my yacht. And we look at the beach, there's all these pretty girls out there. Pop said, oh, man, we need to get over there. I said, you can swim like me. We can swim over there. He said, I can swim better than your big ass, so let's find out. We take our watch off, jury off. We jump in the ocean. I'm taking my time swimming on top of the water. Pac swimming underwater. He backstroking. He side stroking. He doing all this crazy shit, right?
Right.
Then he get tired. He said, I can't swim no more. I can't do it. I'm tired. So I swim to him, and And I let him to get his rest. I say, okay, I'm spreading the water. I said, man, okay, get your rest, man, but we got to swim. So when I let him go, he jumped back on me on top of my head and pushed me under the water, right?
Yeah.
I said, oh, fuck. So I throw him off me, and he goes underwater. Then I got to go underwater and find him. Once I find him, I pull him back up. I'm trying to swim to the beach, but I'm calling everybody, we need help, we need help. By the time he gets there, right, they help us. They take pot. But they leave me. I said, oh, now here I am, about to drown. So I barely made it to the motherfucking beach, dragging, sweating and shit, get the pot, and introduced a little ducking on trying to get him out the mouth. So I said, no, man, don't do it. I can't move my left leg, but I don't want him to get me out the mouth. So I'm going to pick him up. And when I went to pick him up, all the salt water started throwing up, coming out of it.
Yeah.
So I had to carry this motherfucker to where it was a little Nissan old pickup truck that took him to the hospital. And the dude said if he wouldn't have threw up, he would have died. You know? And, you know, it wasn't on purpose. That's a blessing that we got blessed and we made it through. But Pac is one of the most loyal
You have 60 seconds remaining.
people you ever meet in your whole entire life.
This episode of $1 Million Worth of Game is brought to you by Simply Safe. One thing
Simply
about,
Safe.
listen, it's simple to be safe. So won't you do something that's simple so you could be safe? You need to go to simplysafe.com/game. You get 40% off. Listen, you could get a security system starting as low as $100. Right now, you get, I'm talking about starting at just, I'm talking about $100. I'm telling you, get a complete home security system starting at just $100. Listen, man, there is no long-term contracts or commitments. It's a really easy way to start feeling a bit more peace of mind and safe. I'm talking about one thing about Simply Safe. They won the 2021 Best Home Security System by the U.S. News and World Report. Think about that. So what are we talking about? What are we talking about right now? You can easily customize a system for your home online in minutes and even get free custom recommendations from Simply Safe. Listen, what you need to do, I'm talking about the holiday deal. You get 40% off your new home security system by visiting simplysafe.com/game. Again, go to simplysafe.com/game for 40% off an entire system, and you could get a system right now for as low, starting off at $100.
Put some protection on your family, man.
Simplysafe.com/game. Let me ask you a question. How do you feel about all these CEOs, black companies that's out here doing their things? You got QC, you got Gotti and them, you got all these cats doing their thing. How you feel about them?
I mean, I appreciate all the fact that they still out there. Now, if they're not taking care of and passing the baton to these young dudes, that's a problem. I don't want to be the CEO no more. I want to be the guy who helps the younger generation stay on top and be on top. I'm not trying to take their position. I think that's a problem. Because half of the motherfuckers who take their position, they ain't going to do shit no way.
Yeah.
Half of those motherfuckers tell it.
But when you say telling who, what do you mean?
Shit. It's only obvious why certain people never go to prison or never go to jail. When I decided to take rap music, gangster rap music, hip hop to radio, they told me it would never work. I made sure it worked. I was getting 95% to 97%. 97% of the stuff you hear on the radio either my stuff or with somebody else managing.
You said, take that back.
I'm not saying the whole
Take
lot.
that back, Suge. You said,
What was that?
you said, take that back. You said it was only 5%?
Yeah, they was only getting 5% with gangster rap. If they got 10%, they was having a party. So when I sent out my attack radio, they said don't do it. It would never happen. But one thing I did do, I set up a company where I was getting 95% radio play, and I went from 95% to 97%. 97% of the stuff you heard was my artist or my label or somebody I was managing.
Who was you managing that we don't know?
I said,
That we don't know nothing about. Who was you managing that nobody will ever know you was managing?
I'll say the best producers, the most talented producers, one of the most talented producers in the world still today is Devontae Swing. I was managing Joe DC and Devontae Swing. Devontae was the guy who can write the music, play the instruments, do the melody, produce it. He wasn't just a beat maker. He was a real producer.
Yeah.
One of these things I want to say before I go, before my time cut off, is this. They use our people to get the talent. Say, for instance, that if I can go to Compton, if I can go to Watts, I can go to anywhere, South Central, if I can go somewhere and get an artist, once I make him a star, the majors want to take him from me. Because when you look at it, I got some real people I know is real solid. The homies like G and all those guys, the Rough Riders. They had DMX, Jadakiss, the Locks, Eve. They took DMX from him. They took Eve from him. They took all of them from him. Look at Devontae. Devontae had Genuine, Timberland, and Missy. They took all of them from him. It's just the thing they do they've been doing since the 50s, and they're doing it now. And a lot of these guys who want to be street guys, or think they're street guys, they say, well, I'm going to be in the industry. I'm better than him. Well, a lot of things you don't know about me. I can play lead guitar, bass guitar, drums, and write music. It's not a coincidence, and it's not smart being stupid. I ain't with the broke talk, but I'm with, like, you got to be intelligent to make yourself better.
Absolutely.
Even when it came to Lil' Kim album called The GOAT, they took Afro Puff that I own, the whole actual real reels that Jimmy that the little producer dudes use, and did the whole thing. Didn't pay me $1. I could have been like, okay, I'm pulling the project, but no, I'll let it go. Not that I'm scared of or worried about, because I don't gotta be petty. If the next motherfucker being fucked up, I don't gotta be fucked up like that. You know, one time I was at Storts. Scott Storts is a really good friend of mine. We do business together, partnership together. Snoop comes over with his son. I look at Snoop, I look at his son. Now, if I wanted to be an asshole, that was my opportunity to be an asshole. But instead, we embraced each other. But when I looked at his son didn't look at me as this my father enemy, this my father boss in the past. He looked at me like I was his uncle that been in prison somewhere, and I'm home, and now he get to see me. And that changed a whole lot of shit. Actually made me feel good, the fact that as black men, we could take a position and do great shit together. Not that we need to, but it's the idea of the fact that we don't always have to be on the negative bullshit.
One thing about Snoop, every time we see him, he always speak good about you when we ask him about you.
Yeah, we had him on our show twice, and he brought your name. We bring your name up, and he give you flowers. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, look, I only want the best for Snoop. I got major love for Snoop. Truth be told, Snoop did help me build Death Row. That's the only person he really did, because now Corrupt was the best artist in the world, best rapper, but Snoop helped me build the company, because when we first did Deep Cover, I seen the movie, and I tell Snoop about the movie, and Snoop write Deep Cover, 187 on Undercover Cop. When I turn around and say, Snoop, let's go to New York, and we're going to end up at Salt and Pepper fucking party, he ain't going to say who's going with us. I'm going to pick him up. We're going to jump in the car. We're going to go to the airport. We're going to show up there, and Snoop and I are going to go to this party. And it's to the basement somewhere. Yeah. And people say, hey, well, where Dr. Dre at? We look at each other, and we say, oh, he just in Compton, smoking on some weed, drinking a 40, getting some more tattoos, even though that was a lie, but, we kept it real with the people what they wanted to hear.
Mm-hmm.
So he did indeed been there to help me create. Pac was unbelievable, because Pac came in and wanted to bring everybody together.
Yeah.
When we did All Eyes on Me, I didn't want to name All Eyes on Me. Yeah. Pac, like, I want everybody to be on here. Mm-hmm. When the Dog Pound was in New York, him in New York, the City of Dreams,
mm-hmm.
and their trailer got shot up,
mm-hmm.
they called the studio. Pac beat up every motherfucker in that studio who wasn't from the West Coast. Behind Snoop there.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Now, I don't have nothing bad to say about Snoop. I ain't never had nothing bad to say about Snoop. Matter of fact, I want all those dudes to have their blessings to keep winning. Did anybody try to help me get out of prison? Hell no. Did they help Mike, who, when you read these documents, you'll see how they straight lied. Not Lydia Harris, Michael Harris.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Lydia Harris was the one doing the bullshit. It never was her. It was him and his attorney.
Mm-hmm.
Straight lie, fraud. But at the same time, if you get a company as big as Death Row, doing so many great things helping everybody in the industry, and then you praise the motherfucker who lied and committed fraud to fuck Death Row up, that don't make sense to me. Wouldn't have been no Compton one for me.
Yeah.
The dude they call Wack, he got that deal because he met those people through one person, me. There's another dude named James Williams goes around and says he knows this, he knows that. Come on, James. Hood business is hood business. You didn't move to the hood till later on. You from South Central.
Yeah.
But we ain't gonna be all that little arguing back and forth. That ain't gonna be my style. Like I said, when I was on the streets, same motherfucker was out there, hey, didn't have nothing to say. Now all of a sudden I'm doing time. They think it's 28 years, but they say, oh, every person got an opinion, everybody got something to say. But I promise you, I'll be there when I get there. You know I'm gonna pull up. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna go and say, okay, you a bitch and all that. Just express yourself better. You know?
Hey, Suge, I just got to ask you this one question.
Yeah.
The streets want to know. We had Whack 100 on the show. You know what I mean? You know, he was hyping his Mac up, and we told the nigga, nigga, shut up. You a Suge Knight driver, nigga. You ain't do nothing but warm Suge cars up. Was Whack anything more than that?
I mean, Wack drove truck, right from the valley. But I think it's great he got his platform to get some bread for his family, but enjoy your family. All this extra shit, arguing with everybody, speaking on politics you know nothing about, trying to put the next person down. That don't make you no motherfucking gangster. Matter of fact, y'all on the street. James and you is arguing, you and this person arguing, you and Stutter Box arguing. Man, let's show up some motherfucker where get in the ring in front of TV and pay-per-view and squabble up, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Shit, I'm 335, 340 in shape. I'm with all the bullshit.
You still got you still can rump. I'm saying you're a little older, Suge. You still can move around. You can move around.
I can move around. But look, hey, when I was in the county jail, they wouldn't feed me. I had blood clots when I got shot.
Now listen, when it comes to selling records, right? The reason I mentioned some of the CEOs that I mentioned because they're young cats and they doing their thing. That the quality control, the CMG, all these dudes out here making moves. You know what I'm saying? And I just wanted to give one of you. Is there any word of wisdom you could give them when they playing in the big leagues of this music industry?
What I think they should always do, keep their paperwork right, keep their ownership. It's a difference between owning something or somebody got to sell it back to you. Don't go into no deal and say, you know what, Sony, whoever they fucking with, well, I want to own my shit. It's my company. And they say, well, you know what, later on we're going to sell it back to you. It shouldn't go like that. It's yours from the start, and you should never have to buy it back. Own your masters, own anything you do. Your name, I don't care if it's the internet. Truth be told, it's not the old school no more. You don't need the majors no more. You got social media.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what they should do is y'all should figure out how to get along with each other. Because one day, y'all should be able to get together and buy a football team, or buy a basketball team, or buy a baseball team.
Mm-hmm.
You shouldn't have to go to the bank. If you got 5 or 10 people who's really doing their thing, they should be able to call each other and say, hey, man, let's buy the Lakers. Let's buy the Raiders. Because the NFL really don't care. They treat the athletes like shit and say if they get caught smoking weed, they get in trouble. But they let anybody perform at the Super Bowl who promote one thing. Or they let anybody put on the show. And we got to stop hiring people who's well-known informants who snitched on everybody and put them on the stand. I put them in prison. They run y'all companies. A lot of these people, the FBI is the most smartest people in the world. They getting these people and put them in the industry for one reason, to get around everybody in the industry to arrest you motherfuckers one day.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
But like I said, the most important thing is less talking,
more action.
more action.
You calling back, Suge?
It's not about me. I did my thing. I feel I'm part of history regardless.
No, you definitely part of history.
It's their turn.
They can't wipe you out of history.
It's their turn to run every motherfucking thing.
Right.
And come on, Wack, I ain't gonna hold this person against you. Calm that shit down. When you come to me, you got something to say, we'll holler when I get there. Or who anybody else. But the most important thing is, in the industry, y'all got the industry in the palm of y'all hand. You got the world in one hand, you got the gun in the other. Which one you gonna use?
That's $1 million worth of game right there.
$1 million worth of game, Suge.
That's $1 million worth of game
y'all
right
enjoy
there.
yourself.
You
Love
too,
you,
Suge.
homie.
I need. Hey, a lot of times I don't get no JPay. Love y'all. I don't get no JPay and stuff like that. But I do have a official